Hey BioTeam. So you guys have learned that cells have the ability to send and receive signals to each other. And there's a couple of types of signals that cells can send, but regardless of type, the method by which a cell receives a signal and acts on it more or less follows the same three steps. The first step of a cell receiving and acting on a signal is reception. That is a signal molecule which here in this diagram we'll call a ligand. It binds or it ligates to a receptor molecule that's embedded in the cell membrane. Okay. Normally these receptors are embedded in the cell membrane, although sometimes the ligand, if it's a lipid steroid, is able to diffuse through the membrane and find a receptor inside the cytoplasm. Anyway, after the ligand is received by the receptor, it binds to the receptor. A process called transduction occurs, in which the signal is transferred from the receptor to other molecules inside of the cell. We call these secondary messengers. So in this particular diagram, you can see that the signal then is passed along this relay from one molecule to the next, to the next, to the next, until eventually it triggers some sort of response within the cell. So these molecules within the signaling chain would be secondary messengers. And a couple of things worth noting about transduction is that the signal usually has to pass through a long chain of events. And we call this chain of events, we call this a transduction pathway, or we call it a signaling cascade, because it's one event after the other. Another thing worth noting is that oftentimes the initial signal, which starts with just a single molecule, gets amplified by activating a large number of molecules in the process of transduction. But that's it. At this point, you guys have some practice problems. We'll see you next class.